It's a true culture of caring. When I walked through the door about 13, 14 years ago, I felt something was different when I walked in that door, and that was at 590 King Street.
Well, it began in 1965 as a home for able-bodied seniors. It was in a house in Windsor. There were 30 rooms in the house, and the folks who lived there at that time were, to a large extent, fully mobile. Many of them still drove their own cars.
The board of directors has been a huge influence to the Windsor Elms continuing to evolve and to look toward the future. We've had a variety of great members on the board. Two members I'll speak about in particular because they worked on with me and the leadership team on building this home, and that's Don McLeod and Jerry Raymond.
A few businessmen in the town, along with Reverend Bill Pope, decided that they should have a retirement home for seniors. They arranged money, and at that time the Sangster property was available, which is located across from the United Church. So it was purchased, and from there they organized it and started out with 23 residents.
The home, when it was opened, had a strong affiliation with the United Church of Canada. In fact, it was called Windsor Elms United Church Senior Citizens Home. And that association with the church continued until 2010, and the home benefited from that association by having board members appointed from local church organizations, United Church organizations.
When the Elms first started, actually my home was next door to the Elms. It was a senior's home, or a senior's place to live. There were 2 or 3 apartments in the building. They had, some of them even had their cars there. It was seniors, not nursing home. And then as these people got more debilitated, they developed into a nursing home.
Over the years from 1965, the needs of the individuals in the home changed considerably as they aged, and they lost their mobility and lost their ability to think as clearly as they did when they first moved in.
I see what transpires as people are getting older and how they are looked after. Being involved with the Elms when it was just a retirement home and developed into a nursing home, it's made a tremendous impact on me.
Initially, we had a little garden in our backyard, and some of them used to come and they'd help themselves to a cucumber and take it home and put it on, have it sliced on their table or whatever. And when they got upset with being there, they would come and knock on my door. One time it was a very confused lady. She wasn't from Windsor. I didn't know her, and because at that time I wasn't involved with the Elms. And anyway, she came in. She was leaving, and she wanted her family called, and I said, well, couldn't I do your family today? And so she forgot all about it once we had a cup of tea. And
you know, for some of our residents, they live in the moment. They may forget you in 5 minutes, but it's how you can make people feel in those few short moments that you do connect.
I worked with a lot of people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's a very rewarding job. And I remember one gentleman, he was very upset, and it was the winter time. So, and we couldn't really walk that day, so I took him out. We used to have a garden at the other home too. And we each got a shovel and shoveled the pathway out there. So when we come in, he said, honey, I hope they're paying us good, because that was hard work. And he, you know, it's just like his whole day was different after that. So it's just little things like that.
When you come in to nursing home, it's a period of transition for anyone. And what you feel here is a culture of respect, welcoming, and the ability to be who you are here at the Windsor Elms.
I went in on one of the floors, and I used to try to get them a little bit more upbeat, you know. And so I was singing this Shania Twain song, and we're having a party. And anyway, one of the ladies that was right next to my steam cart when I was coming through or whatever, she got up out of her chair and pushed her chair in, and she started dancing. That's another.
I am Elsie, and I'm a very satisfied member of the Elms, and I do wish everyone a very happy anniversary.
Oh, well, happy 50th anniversary. It's an enjoyable place.
I think they try to be pleasant and look after the people that they're associates. That's a good way to put it, isn't it?
I would always recommend it to people to go, and I couldn't recommend it too highly. It was really a great place if you felt you were really doing something by just going to visit.
Gave me a lot of friends and a lot of good memories. It was a great experience.
Happy 50th anniversary, Windsor Elms.
I feel like I'm at home. I don't have any restrictions, and I just feel comfortable.
The people are nice, the food is good. Everything's great here.
And the food is good. Individuals are able to select the kind of food they would like to have, and that is a comfort to many individuals.
What I feel what makes Windsor Elms unique, one of the most special things is that they all have private rooms. It is so special and so important, really. And everyone has the opportunity. It's a free, open concept home, and there are no locked doors. They are free to move about from one house to another, from one community to another, and it just helps to allow the residents to feel more at home. Our fondest memory is a year ago. Anne called me one day, and she also talked with Donald. We have an anniversary on the 1st of October. And Anne said, would you like to renew your vows? So what we did, they did, it was an afternoon program, and we had our second wedding, and it was just absolutely fabulous.
I remember one night I came in and they were going to have pajama bingo, just decided at the last minute to have pajama bingo. Another day during the winter last year, they had, it had so much snow, as you know, and they brought snow in and put it on big trays for them, and they made snowmen. So I said, that's something like that is very important. And just, I think too, to have the spiritual support here at the church, here with their church and their pastor, which is very important at this age, in the stage of their life.
There were two major additions put on the home over the years to provide what's now considered to be nursing home facilities. That is, rooms that accommodated those with limitations. A good deal of equipment was acquired over the years to be able to service folks who had greater needs. For example, lifts for beds and for bathtubs. The staff who worked at the home changed over time from those assisting in a small way the residents of the home initially, to skilled nursing staff and skilled specialists in the care of seniors.
What I want you to do is, I want you to try to equalize the pressure that you're pushing with each foot. So right there on the left, it says you're pushing with 37%. Ideally, we'd like that at 50% on each side. So you're pushing, that's it. Push some more on the left. There you go. So you want to try to get those lines up to the same. So this machine is designed for individuals who have a hard time standing and need some assistance. But at the same time, it allows the individual to work certain muscles or target certain muscles that wouldn't be targeted otherwise.
Yeah.
So the Windsor Elms is our first and only, actually, foray into being a therapy dog team.
A lot of people here had animals in the past, farmed or, you know, grew up on farms or... So we have one sheep that will walk well on a halter, and she loves people. She has since she was born, which is very unusual for a sheep. And she will put her head in people's laps and the like. So we put an adult extra large diaper on her, and we bring her in for visits.
The Windsor Elms have been a big part of my life. I've worked here for over 22 years.
My name's Judy Vino, and I've been at the Windsor Elms for 38 years.
When I first came, my grandmother was living at the Windsor Elms. And my fondest memory is that I was able to be that much closer to my grandmother for the last couple of years of her life.
I think the support you get here and the family-like atmosphere, and I've gone through some bad things in my life, and they were all there just like my family to support me.
In the early 2000s, the United Church of Canada became quite concerned about the possibility of legal claims being made against the church in connection with the number of nursing homes with which it was involved. And it decided, that is the church decided, that it was not going to be able to continue its active relationship. And Windsor Elms became one of the first organizations to enter a new relationship with the United Church of Canada. Its close association was ended in the year 2010, and a new relationship called a legacy relationship was entered between the church and the home. And the historical connection between the home and the church does continue from that time, but in a much reduced relationship.
I have so many great memories of the residents who passed through our doors, the conversations with them and their families, the staff who've come and gone, the staff who are here, and their families.
The staff are connected with each other from the community. Most are related to each other or know each other. And then the residents, when they come in, are often related to the staff as well.
You got to know them, and you got to realize that, you know, they have needs and wants and desires the same as you do, and it doesn't matter what your age.
It is one big family. Everyone knows everyone. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's very interesting.
The board of directors and the management of the home has always tried to empower staff to do the best they can for the residents.
My name is Kim Frank. I am the principal at Falmouth Elementary School, and our students come up here on a regular basis to visit the residents and do activities with them. One of the things that I think is really important is the stories and the history that the seniors and the residents here at the Elms are able to share with our students. We have students who don't necessarily have grandparents that they see very often, or don't have grandparents that in their lives at all due to death. So it gives our children a chance to interact with that generation, to have a sense of what it means to have someone in their life that may miss their grandchildren as well, or who may not have had the experience of having grandchildren themselves. And our students get to come up and share things with them, and then in turn learn a little bit about history or hear stories from the lives of the residents here at the Elms.
Greatest memory for me that I'll never forget is the day that we moved from 590 King Street to this location.
We were having a staff meeting in the dining room at the old Elms in Windsor, and Sherry Keane announced that we were getting a new home, and they were building it in Falmouth. So we had kind of outgrown the one we were in, and I was thinking that was a super idea. Of course, I was all set to move within a month or two, and then they just said, no, it'll be 2 years anyway. But we needed the 2 years because they had a lot of building going on here in Falmouth, and a lot of planning and meetings upon meetings at the Elms. And there again, they involved the staff in decisions, and the girls in the kitchen, we were all involved in what we were going to do, how we were going to arrange the kitchen. We went and looked at other homes to see what equipment we'd like to have and what we needed. So it was all very exciting.
The sod turning for this home, it was a beautiful autumn day, and the kids from Falmouth Elementary could be heard in the background. And it was really nice. We all took turns with the shovel, and we all broke ground. So, yeah.
We had a breakfast. The staff, residents had breakfast in the old home in the morning, and we all had lunch together here in the afternoon. And that whole transition of people working together, the happiness in the air, the teamwork was a pretty phenomenal feel.
The thing that amazed me is that we were able to move 108 residents. They had their breakfast in the old Kings Street facility, and they had their lunch in the new facility. And to move a lot of them in wheelchairs, and it was just a phenomenal moving project. And we had a great individual planning that for us, Phil Nixon, and he just did a tremendous job.
And when the bus after bus came with our residents on them that day, they were welcomed by a bagpiper and piped off the bus. Some of them danced, some of them sang as they came through the door. And it was an overwhelming, emotional day that was full of a love, compassion, teamwork, some fear of the unknown, but an incredibly great day. I'll never forget it. We changed from a medical model of providing care to a philosophy, the Eden alternative philosophy, where we're focusing again on the well-being and the independence and the personhood of those residents who live with us, and how can we create home together.
"50 years from now," that's a hard question. When I think back to 50 years ago, in the last 50 years, and all the changes that have come about in technology and medical care, it's really hard to even think what the possibilities could be for here. But I know that Windsor Elms Village, just from the philosophy that they've taken, that they certainly will adapt with all the changes that are going and happening. But I think it's called Windsor Elms Village for a reason, and I think that they realize, like the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. And I think that whatever changes take place, it'll always have that village concept.
I think in about 40 some years, we'll have some wise people come together and talk about the home, of the journey for it. I can almost see that these large places are no longer going to be functionable, and that we'll be looking at smaller communities out in specific communities.
I think it's going to be a different kind of community. I think it will be a community that welcomes not just seniors, but also young people, middle-aged people, people from all walks of life who need special support in one way or another, whether it's emotional support or physical support or mental support. I think it will be a community that houses all ages and welcomes folks who are interested in learning to guide folks, to serve folks.
Well, I think the way things are going today is really going to be a drastic change. We're going to see the tattoos, the piercing, you know, the dyed hair,
I can't even fathom what 50 years is going to be like, but I can see it as it evolves. We are going to need probably assisted living and seniors daycare.
Probably in 50 years, with all the computer things, there'll be robots looking after people at the Windsor Elms.
I think we're going to be R2-D2s, you know, like in Star Wars. And we're going to have this flowing ramp that goes down these halls, so anybody doesn't have to walk any distance. They could just stand on the ramp and go like in an airport. And you just put a coin in a machine or whatever, and you get hot, instant, good food.
I think around 2045, the baby boom generation is over. There's going to be less demand for seniors' homes at that point. So I'm assuming that this building would probably be repurposed. It was built for a 200-year lifespan. It's all steel and concrete construction. So I imagine it will be repurposed by then.
I think it'll be still on the go, hopefully improving all the time and still following the Eden philosophy and expanding on that.
I think it'll be probably expanded into other sections, and no doubt by that time they'll need a new building, and so I think it'll still be a nursing home.
I just wish the Windsor Elms the best in the next 50 years, and I know in the past 50 years the Windsor Elms has developed a wonderful reputation for caring, kindness, compassion, and love for those they serve. I know that will continue, and I wish them well along the way, and I know great things are ahead as well.